What's up, folks? It's Mickle here. Today you're joining me to talk about Lamborghini Aventador versus the Lamborghini Aventador SV Roadster. What I'm going to do is tell you the differences, what I found and when I started driving the Aventador back in 2012, and the difference I found with this SV Roadster. Now, I am not going to take this car out on the road. I'm not going to stick these little mini cameras, these GoPros on it, and ride up and down the road. There's plenty of other videos out there for that. I've driven both cars. I've driven them around. Just got a hold of this one. So I'm not going to put all those cameras and things on. There's plenty of other videos for that. I just really want to go around and show you the basics from what I found. Hopefully that helps you out with your purchases and decision. With that being said, let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and start from the top. One of the things, just from the basic paint, you'll see the SV, which means super veloce or super fast. That is this model. This is a pretty blue color. It does have the clear bonnet. But I'll tell you one of the things that I thought, before I got into the whole Roadster thing, I thought that this clear bonnet was so important to me in terms of an option. But really, these cars are so much of an experience. I'll be honest. If you can find a deal on one and it doesn't have the clear engine cover, I'd say go for it, because for what you can see here, which is really not much. I mean, you would have to know the details. I mean, having this crossbar here in carbon fiber, I mean, yeah, I suppose it looks cool, but even if you couldn't see it, this car screams at every possible angle. There's just nothing that it leaves, nothing that hides. It's just all there. This color, again, it's I don't remember the exact color blue. It is the Roadster. So this is a carbon fiber top. This can be removed, but let me tell you, the way it was explained to me is you got to be careful with these tops, because even though there's plenty of videos out there that shows that, you take the tops off, you pull the seat forward, take the tops off, it stores down here in the hood. In fact, let me open the hood for you and show you where it's stored. But let me also caution, I wouldn't be in a hurry to do that, because I've heard some horror stories with these things. First of all, there's not a lot of space in here, so you're not storing a lot. Like my hand sort of goes to about forearm length, and then width, I can almost touch it with the sort of cool extension of your thumb and pinky there. So once you put the covers, or the tops in here, you have no room. But let me caution you, the way it was explained to me is, if you don't seat these things perfectly, and you may not know it even from the snap, if it tucks down in there and then you close the hood and you go driving it like it can be driven, you can scratch these things. So you got to be ultra careful with that, because you don't want to scratch it. And again, I'll say, I just don't think you need to be in that business. Obviously, this is the wind deflector. Most people never put it on. And when you close this, just give it a tug and that's it. That takes care of it. But it is a menacing car. The traditional Aventador, when I was driving the 2012s and 2013s, I mean, it was obnoxious. It was in your face. It was unapologetically that poster car that every kid wanted, grew up with. And it's just all those things. So when you actually get it, a lot of the things that, like if you're going to the Lamborghini website and you're doing the configurator options, things you're putting in, comforts, conveniences, it really doesn't matter. Like, for example, I thought the floorboards, not having a floor mat was a big deal. It's really not. These seats, as you know, they're sort of a race style seats, like a bucket seat. It doesn't move. There's no storage. I thought those things would be a big deal. They're just not. Once you start experiencing a car like this, you're just so happy with the experience that all those other little things go away. You got the huge tires and rims here. We got the carbon fiber wing going on. It's the Aventador by every stretch of the imagination. But I will say again, just your traditional Aventador, it was in your face. It was loud. It was all those things. So what's the difference between the SV? Let me tell you, with the way I just described the Aventador, loud, obnoxious, in your face, scream, poster car, the SV amps it up even more. I just did not expect that. Community like this, very quiet, as you can see, just a quiet street, quiet neighborhood, sort of golf course community, you know, just one of these traditional South Florida communities where the people just don't make a lot of noise. The difference between the regular Aventador and this one, this thing screams. I mean, when you crank this car up, and I'm not going to do it simply because it's early in the day and I don't want to disturb my neighbors anymore because I was out driving earlier. When you crank this thing up, and I wouldn't be able to capture it on this video anyway. I wouldn't be able to capture the sound and the absolute amount of noise that it makes. How's it going? Waving to one of the neighbors there. When you crank this thing up, it just screams. And not moving it from Strata to Sport or Corsa. And for those of you who don't understand, I'll get in a few minutes and explain those modes. Just the basic cranking this thing up. It is a tremendous amount of noise. It's a beautiful noise, but this car is loud. In fact, it is so loud, I can understand why now that they're into the Revelto, that they have that electric option. And although, of course, nobody wants an electric Aventador, but I believe that with the electric, if you put it in the electric mode, you can get just a few miles. It's very meaningless, the number of miles. You're not going to ride up and down the road on a charge. But I do think one of the biggest benefits of having that electric portion is when you're driving through a community, because it's about, it's probably 1 mile for me to get to the gate from my actual house. If I could put this car in an electric mode and sort of cruise out of the community, I could see that as a benefit. But again, it's just noisy. I haven't seen the Revelto yet. I'm told they're just as noisy, but this thing is noisy. I'm also told there's more Aventador SVJs, which is sort of the next version, than actual SVs. This is 1 of 500. In fact, you'll see in the door here, you'll see sort of that, I believe it catches it. Yeah, 1 in 500. There we go. 1 of 500. And that's for the SV Roadster. So first of all, it's just noisy. And when you hit it, I believe this car is 100 pounds less than the Aventador. When you punch this thing, it just growls. If you thought just standing there with it idle was loud, when you punch it, it's even louder. It's just an even angrier bull. The other thing that I wouldn't have caught the difference is the smell of fuel. Like, this is legitimately a race car with a license plate. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, they all are to some degree, but this SV Roadster, it is a race car with a license plate. You smell the fumes and the fuel when you stop. Like, if you've been out driving 2-3 miles, you hit it a little bit. When you get out, you actually smell the fumes. I haven't been able to put an Aventador and an Aventador SV next to each other. However, I'm told if a traditional, and I'm sorry, not the Aventador, the Aventador S, because that's where I thought I was going next. I sort of skipped one and jumped over to the SV. I'm told you can crank an Aventador S and, you know, nobody really moves. You know, it's sort of subtle. You crank this car, everything stops. It is like a sonic boom. I was having dinner last night over at T-Dubs in Jupiter. I'm sorry, that's Tiger Woods, the Woods Jupiter. And as for those of you local, you know you have to cross a bridge depending on how you're coming in off I-95. I come off I-95. You cross a bridge and then you look over to the left and you see Tiger Woods restaurant in that sort of, plaza or sort of dinner and shopping area over there. They could hear me coming in. I didn't know that. I was a little bit aggressive. I'm aggressive, first couple of gears and then I get off, and you have fun. You're turning so many heads everywhere you go with these things. There's just, as you know, with a regular Aventador, same thing. Everything, Aventador S, they turn heads everywhere you go. But this just as much so, because now if people don't see you from the color, they hear you from the sound, and it's just like that. So I'm gonna get inside here, and we'll start to take a look inside. All right, I'm inside. I'm 6'2", or 6'2" and just another hair, but as you can see, I'm in here. There's not a lot of room in the footwell, but again, you're not in this car for creature comforts and to go the long haul. You're in this car for exactly what you think it would be. You're making a statement, you're making a lot of noise, you're having a good time, you're having fun. So all the need for things go out the window. This car is so loud, that you can see there's sort of a booster on the radio here. This car is so loud, you're not gonna hear the radio. You're really not. In fact, I'm just gonna, well, I don't really wanna start it up. I'll turn on sort of the preliminary so you can see the gauges. But it is so loud in here that you just simply, you can't hear anything. It has a CD player, you can pop a CD in, but you're not here to listen to your favorite tunes. Your favorite tune is gonna be this engine. So the other nice option is you can drop the window behind you here. And so I'm just gonna flip the camera around. So I've dropped that that window so you can hear the engine even more. But it is so not about this. So all these other videos talk about, you know, whether you can, you know, easily get around this sort of, you know, whether it has Apple CarPlay or, sorry, let me turn this down. Whether it has Apple CarPlay or you can turn your phone. Look, nobody cares about all that stuff, okay? You're not conveniently riding up and down the road, going to, you know, whatever you're doing. This is about the experience. So who cares about Apple CarPlay? I just happen to be an Android guy. I don't care if this thing connects to my phone or not. The engine sound is going to drown out all of that anyway. So whether people think it's clunky, that, oh, well, this is an Audi base system. Look, all of that stuff doesn't matter. The cool thing, obviously, the way it starts, you got sort of that cockpit. You can change your different modes. Strata, which is more your street mode, probably going to be in automatic, which I'm never in. Sport mode is where I'm in 100% of the time, and I'm on manual. I'm clicking manual. Corsa mode is obviously the track mode. I'm not going out on the track with this thing, simply because, well, you know, are you going to take your $500,000 car out on a track? I'm not. I don't know anyone who will. I mean, you know, maybe if you're, you know, I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and you can go buy 5 of these things at once and not notice it, whatever. But I'm certainly not going to do that. So all of these other little things, you know, radio, info, telephone, it just doesn't matter. It is so loud in here that literally making the adjustment for this car, I would go so far as to say having ear protection is probably not a bad thing. I mean, it is, as crazy as it sounds, it is that loud in here when you are driving. And so if there's a passenger in here with you, you're probably yelling. Well, no, there's no problem. You are yelling. It's that loud. So if you feel that your voice is strained after a while, it's because you've been yelling at each other for the whole time. The gas tank is not big in here. You probably got about 10 gallons. And as you know, you're not going far with these cars. So it is, I'm just going to switch it back off. You're not going far. You're probably going to go 200 miles tops, and then it's past time for more fuel. So, and you know, when you pull up to the gas station, you're going to get the all the head turning. You know, you feel it. It's pretty. It's, you know, it's just like the other one. Nothing fancy in terms of the fueling. You just pop it open, you fuel it, close it up. Of course, put in your super unleaded gas. Don't screw yourself over. and put in regular gas. People do it. I've heard about it. And just don't do that. Put in your 93 octane gas and you'll be fine. But every time you stop, there's going to be a conversation. Some guy's going to pull up. He's going to have a ZR1 or he's going to have a McLaren or whatever. All great cars, but they're not this. This car doesn't chase anybody to the gas station to see if he can get next to him. Everybody want to get next to this car. So again, I don't want to go on and on. I think I've talked enough. Just wanted to give you the basics. I'm not going to get out here on the road. There's plenty of other videos that'll take you through. When you punch it, it growls, it roars. It's everything you think it is. If you've ever experienced an Aventador, this ups the ante. So with that being said, again, I hope I've helped you all out. Hope I helped you with your purchasing decision or however it is you experience these supercars. All the horsepower, 741, I believe it is. I call it Brahma bull power. Why even put a horse when the logo is a bull? So I call it bull power. And that's basically it, folks. So from the mobile home to where moguls roam, I am Anthony Bond Mickle. Activate Gorilla Grind mode. Let's work.